All right, so now we're going to look at the bottom half of this worksheet, which is all about transitional value. If you notice on here, it gives you a good definition for transitional value, a gradual fading value within a space. It is used to show three-dimensional form. So the whole idea, there's an example right under here, is that we have a value that changes within a space evenly and consistently as if it's fading. So you're going to want to follow the example underneath. For number 3, it tells you to use only black dots, create a transitional value scale that gradually fades from black to white. I do think it is better to start at the dark side rather than the light side. And again, we're using that even consistent spacing. Over here on the left, where it's going to be the darkest, I probably will not see any of the paper showing through. Then as I move to the right, then I'm gradually going to be placing my dots farther and farther apart. The nice thing about stipple or pointillism is that it really lends itself to transitional value. Sometimes if you try to do a fading value in graphite, you'll find that you get strips or bands of value. It doesn't gradually fade. But you have a lot of control with stipple to get it to fade. So now I'm getting into the darker area. See how close those dots are? Getting all the way next to the edge. I do want to be neat, avoiding getting outside of the box. And again, I'm following the values under here. So it's pretty dark. Nearly solid over here. It's not going to be the same if you just try to color it solid and then try to fade. It is important to build up with dots the same dot that you use. If you start being really messy, using the side, or even careless, it's going to show. It's not going to be as neat. So I'm going to continue across this box so that they gradually get farther and farther apart and that my value fades. I think you get the idea. You're going to follow what's underneath. Now here we're creating transition of colors. So if I look back at my example, I see that I have a warm color fading into a cool color. And then I have a warm and cool color together and they're fading to white. I have one color that I fade into brown, and I have either a warm to warm or a cool to cool. So how do I do that? Is really I just do opposing transitional value scales. So I'm going to take one color, warm colors, they remind us of the sun or fire, things that actually are warm to the touch, red, orange, yellow in this case. If you have a pink, that would be a warm color also. So the idea is that I want it pure red because that is the warm color I chose up here at the top. And that as I move down, they're going to get farther and farther away until the value gradually fades into white, getting it as close together as I can up here. So I'm taking my red and I'm fading that way. Close, close, close. Again, I'm squinting my eyes to see if the value is blending with the white of the paper. So the dot and the paper, I want them evenly spaced. I'm not done, but I'm just gonna move on. So now I'm gonna choose a cool color. In this case, I'm gonna choose purple, and I'm doing the opposite. So I said they were opposing transitional value scales. So I'm going to start with purple really close together down here. And as purple goes up, it's going to fade out to white, the white of the paper. Or in this case, it's going to fade to red. So this is going to be really close together, almost solid purple. Then it's going to get farther apart until I see the color gradually transition into red. So I'm not quite done, but this is something common that happens. Look at, I have this value or closeness of dots here. I have this closeness of dots here. They're about the same. But in the middle where they overlap, I see a lot more white. I don't want that to happen. I want it to have the same number of dots, closeness together. I just want the types of dots to change. So if I look at that and it's still a little lighter in the middle, I'm going to add more dots. Since it's in the middle, it's probably about half red, half purple. So that is a common mistake that happens in the middle. Don't forget to get all the way up to the edges. So I want a consistent value. I still am noticing it's a little light down here, that there's more white showing in this area than there is any other place in this rectangle. So I'm going to add to it. And that is pretty much it.